Okay, let's start then. So today the topic of our webinar is how do you configure Klevu search in Magento. Klevu can be installed on other platforms as well, but this webinar is particularly focused on the issue related to installing Klevu search in Magento. What we will be discussing today is how do you prepare before you start installing Klevu search in Magento. What are the things you need to take care of? We will go through the configuration of Klevu search in Magento. We will see how do you sign it up, how do you choose a plan, how do you make sure the search is up and running on your store. We will also look at how do you make sure that your search is working properly after you have installed it. We have prepared one questionnaire that I will be sharing with you all. And that's a questionnaire that we will be sending to all our customers for them to inform us how they are managing their store. The information they provide to us, we can use that to help you to make sure that everything is up and running all the time with Klevu search. We will also look at some of the common issues which have been submitted to us through the support tickets, and I will be sharing some of the common answers that we give them to the customers to resolve those issues. We will also look into how do we migrate Klevu search from staging to the production environment. Finally, throughout this presentation, I will be demonstrating the all our setups through M1, but then at the end, we will also touch base the M2 specific details. Of course, you will have opportunity to ask me questions. We were thinking how do we go about it? We could have arranged question answering after every section, but instead it seems that it would be better if we answer the questions at the end of the session. But please do not wait until the end to send your questions. As and when they occur to your mind, please share them with us and we will try to answer them at the end of the session. The session will run for 60 minutes. First 40 minutes are for the presentation and the remaining 20 minutes will be utilized for the question answering. Okay, so let's start with how do you prepare to install Klevu search. Klevu currently offers different plans. These plans are based on different features. You can visit our website to figure it out, the different plans. You can go to klevu.com and you can click on the pricing, and there you will see different plans for Magento have been listed. As you can see here, the plans have been created based on certain features, and there are some limits on how many records you can index or how many searches you can perform in individual plans. Depending on your requirement, you can decide which plan would be appropriate for you. If you're unsure of which plan is good for you, you can always write to us. You can come to our website. You can see here there is a leave a message here. You can contact us through this chat message, or you can write to support@klevu.com and somebody will get back to you. So that is the first step. You have to choose the right plan for your store. The second thing is there are certain prerequisites of our plugin. Our plugin, the Klevu search plugin, it relies on Magento cron. We index all your data in our cloud setup in Klevu Search Cloud. So when you install the plugin and when you configure a store, all the data, your catalog product data is sent to our servers. Once the data has been sent to our server and the search is running on your website, we need to make sure that any changes you do to your store after that, they are also synchronized with our servers. Now, how do we collect all the changes that you are making? We rely on the Magento cron. And that is why it is very important that you make sure that your Magento cron is set up properly and it is running. The second thing, we rely on the Magento indexes. This is used for collecting your data faster, and therefore we request you to make sure that all your Magento indexes are up to date. In your search, you can show several facets. Here is one example of that. I'm on a website, o'neills.com. They are our customer. And when I search for something, this this quick UI is appearing to your customers. What you see on the left-hand side, they are facets. We allow you to choose any attribute from your Magento backend to be displayed here as the facet. So before the data is synchronized with our server, it is very important that you identify that which attributes you want to show as facets over here. I will explain you how do you make sure that those attributes are submitted to us and they are displayed here. But for now, just a reminder that please make sure that you know which attributes you want to show as facets in your search. Once you have decided what attributes you would like to show as facets, the next thing is that you have to create an account with us. And to create an account with us, you will need an email address and a password. Just keep that handy before you download the plugin and you start setting it up. Okay, so once you have this information, the next thing is, how do you install Klevu Search? The plugin for Klevu Search is available in Magento Connect. You can go there, you can download the extra extension, and you can install it in the similar way how you install the other plugins. There's a guide available on our website. support.klevu.com is a site where we have extensive information available on different things that you can do with Klevu Search. And one of the pages is how do you integrate Klevu Search in Magento. So when you visit support.klevu.com, at the top, you will see there is a link for integration. Now in this integration, there is a link for Magento 1 and there's a link for Magento 2. Depending on which Magento version you have, you can click on the appropriate link and you will be presented with the steps. Here, there's some information about the prerequisites, as I said earlier. You can click on this and here is a link that will explain you how can you make sure the cron is running on your system. I also talked about making sure the Magento indices are up to date. How do you check whether the Magento indexes are up to date or not? In M1, you can go to the system. You have to log in into your Magento backend. There you can click on system and go to index management like it is shown over here in the image. Once you click on this, you will be presented with a screen where all the Magento indexes are listed. A thumb rule is that you should see only the green color. That means the status of all the indexes is ready. They're all up to date. In case they are not up to date, we recommend that you select the appropriate index from here and you click on the submit button here after choosing the action as reindex. You will have to wait for a few seconds, and once the indexes are up to date, you will see that everything is green here. So that's the second prerequisite, that your Magento indexes should be up to date. It is also important to know what it is that we index. In your catalog, you may have products with different visibility. Some of the products will have the visibility of catalog only. Some of them will have catalog and search, and some of them will have search only. By default, Klevu indexes all the products where the visibility is set to be catalog and search or search only. It will not index the products which are invisible. There is an exception. In case of configurable products, we also index their variants. Why? I will explain that in a bit. But the exception here is that all the associated products which are individually invisible, they will be indexed as well. So in case you don't want to send certain products to our index, you don't want them to appear in the search, it is recommended that you set their visibility to catalog only, and our plugin will make sure that they are not indexed and they do not appear in the search result. There is a short video available, and it basically takes you through this entire experience of installing the Klevu search plugin. And following that video, there are screenshots available where you can go through step by step. You can follow these steps and you can make sure that the Klevu search is installed on your store. Okay, so what I'll do now is actually take you through how to set it up. I'm in Magento. This is M1. System configurations. Once the Klevu is installed, that is, once you have downloaded the extension, it will appear under System Configurations, and there you have a tab called Klevu. And under Klevu, you have these two tabs. One is Search Configuration, and the other one is the Help Center. If you click on Search Configuration, on the right-hand side, you will see there are several options available. You can use these options to set up how search should work on your store. We will go through them one by one. At this stage, it is important to know that Klevu should be installed, should be configured separately for each store view. In our understanding, and this is how what we have learned so far, that store views, in majority of the cases, store views are used for different languages, to support different languages. Klevu maintains a separate index for every store view. That means if you have set up Klevu on an English store, and when customers are searching on your English store, they will be seeing only the English results. If they now shift to the French store, and if you have configured Klevu search on the French store view, then they will see the results coming for the French store view only. If you do not install or do not configure Klevu search on the German store, for example, then Klevu will not be running on that store. So it is very important that you configure Klevu search on each store view separately. So how do you start? After you have clicked on the search configuration, you will see there is a wizard, Start Configuration Wizard. If I click on that, I am presented with one window, and this is where I need to create an account. You should be creating one account per domain. For example, you have three store views, say English, French, and German, for the same website. Then you do not need to create three different accounts. You should be creating only one account, and you will be able to set up Klevu search on different store views uh, from this wizard. So the email address that you had collected, let's use it here. For example, I'm creating webinar 1 at demoklevu.com. I'll use the retailer email. I'll shortly explain what this is, and I'm choosing a password. So primary email address. Every time you create an account with Klevu Search, we give you an access to something called Klevu Merchant Center. This Merchant Center is different from the configurations that you see in the Magento admin panel. The Merchant Center basically allows you to see the analytics, for example, the search activity that is happening on your store. There are several other things that you can do in Merchant Center, but currently you need to remember that the email address that you provide here as a primary email address, that is what is used to log in into your Klevu Merchant Center account. Retailer email address. This particular email address is used for example, we collect all the analytics data and we send a report of the analytics details every day or on the weekly basis, depending on your preference. These details are sent to the email address that you specify here as a retailer email address. Also, anything specific to the billing or any reminders about the billings, they are also communicated on the retailer email address. So make sure that you are choosing the correct email addresses here, but the primary email address is the one that you would be requiring to log in into the Klevu Merchant Center later on. Once you have provided these details, you have to click on that you accept the terms of service here. You can click next. Now here you have this opportunity to choose the plan. So whichever plan you had decided, you can select one and you can click next. Please see here that all our plans, they come by default with 14 days risk-free trial. There are no obligation after you are done with the 14 days trial. You can decide to continue, you can decide to terminate. We of course hope that you continue, but do give it a try, and you have this 14 days of trial period. Okay, so once you have created an account and chosen your plan, the next step is you have to choose a store view on which you want to configure Klevu search. In this case, I'm choosing German as my store view. The second thing is, how do you manage taxes in your prices? In some countries, we have seen that prices are inclusive of the taxes, whereas in other countries, they have to say that, you know, this is the basic price plus VAT or tax. Now, depending on how you're managing the prices, you have to choose one of the options here. Also, if your website is running on HTTPS, you have to choose the secure option here. Otherwise, you can choose the unsecure option from here. You can click next. Now, this is when an account has been created for you. And when you click finish and sync here, at this time, the system will start to collect the data from my store, and it will send this data to our Klevu server. It will take some time because it is collecting all the data at this stage. Depending on how much data you have got, it will take from a few minutes to um, several minutes. Okay, so once the data has been synchronized, you can come here and you can choose the store view, which you have just configured. I'm going to select French because the data will still be getting indexed for the German. You will see that your store would have been assigned certain API keys. These keys, the JS API key and the REST API key, they are very important, and make sure that they are here all the time and you're not changing them. When customers are searching on your website, these keys are sent to our server, and that's how we identify that from which store we need to serve the data on your store. Scrolling down, you will see there is a section on the data synchronization settings. You have to make sure that the product synchronization is enabled. That means any changes that you are making to your website, they should be collected automatically. If you do not enable this, your changes will not be synchronized with our servers. So please make sure that product synchronization is enabled. Not only we collect the product data, but we also collect the data, non-product data. For example, the CMS pages. We also collect the category pages. You have to make sure that the cron for the synchronizing the other content is also enabled. Here you can see the status of how your cron is running. The timestamp will tell you when was the last the synchronization had run successfully. In case you want to perform an on-demand synchronization, you have a button available here. So if you've made changes and you do not want to wait for the cron to run, you can come here and you can click on this button, sync data for this store, and the process will begin and it will collect all the changes from your store. Order synchronization settings. We also collect the checkouts which are happening on your website. By default, it is enabled. This information is used for automatically ranking your products. We learn from the checkouts which come to us, and we automatically boost certain products which are selling more on your store. There are other parameters considered in ranking products, but this is very important, and we request you to enable this parameter here. If you enable this parameter here, we can also show you how much Klevu is helping you to convert your customers. So if a customer is coming for searching and they're purchasing something, if you enable this setting, only then we will be able to tell you their entire journey. Attributes. All the attributes which you have set to be visible in the search layer navigation from the Magento backend, they are automatically picked up by our plugin, and they are shown as facets on your site. In some cases, there may be attributes which you do not want to show as facets, but you want to index them. That is, you want them to be searchable. The example is metadata, for example. You have certain keywords specific to your products, and you want that when customers are searching, the search should be as well. You can choose all such attributes from the backend from this option here. Once you have chosen your attributes, you have to save the configuration and run your cron. When you run your cron, the new data will be picked up and that will include the new attributes that you have selected from here. We looked at these two options, text in price and secure URLs. They are also provided here just in case if you change them after you have done the configuration. That takes me to the next option, product image settings. In case of configurable products, as I said, we also index the variants of a configurable product. Why? Let's take an example. Say you have a jacket that is available in 3 different colors, a blue, red, and green. Now, when a customer is searching for jackets only, it doesn't really matter which of the 3 variants you are showing to the customer. You can show any of these 3 as long as there is an information available that there are 2 other variants available. It should be okay. But when a customer is searching for a specific color, for example, he says blue jacket, it's important that you do not show the image of the red jacket, but you show the image of the blue jacket. That is the reason why we index the variants and we show the appropriate image in the search. Here is an example of that. So Helly Hansen, they're our customer. And here, if I just type jackets, you can see one product is coming. It's called Salt Jacket, and the color is blue. But now suddenly, a customer is typing blue salt jackets, and the another variant of the same jacket is appearing here. When we click on this product, we always take them customer to the configurable product only. So there they have again opportunity to go through the different variants and they can choose the right product. In case you want to show the image of the configurable product only, here you can choose that. You can say that you want to use the configurable products image, and in that case we will not be collecting images of the individual variants. Search result page. So what we saw here is when I'm typing and the result is appearing, this is something we call quick UI. But when I hit enter, I'm taken to a different page. A landing page. Here is an example of a landing page. By default, Klevu comes with its own template, and this is on O'Neill's website. You can see that they are using our template. This is a JavaScript-based template. You can play with the CSS of this page, but if you want to change the HTML of this, it can be a bit tricky. It is possible, but it can be a bit tricky. If you want to change this, you can always write to us and we can guide you in the right direction on how to make that happen. But there is also another option. We call it preserving your theme layout. What it means that we would be using your own theme, the theme that you have designed, the layout that you have designed for your landing page, but we will be serving products on that page. Here is an example of that, wholesaleboutique.com. In this case, you can see that the design is very different. This is a design that they have created. When a customer is coming on this page, a query is fired to our Klevu servers, and our server will return them the product IDs and the order in which this product should be displayed. This information is then handed over to Magento, and Magento is asked to render this page. When Magento is rendering this page, you can see that all the additional information can be shown here. So for example, a customer specific prices, If you want to show any other things like how many products are in stock, and any other options, all these things can be achieved through the preserving your layout option. This option of preserving your layout is currently available in the premium edition. And if you have chosen the right plan, you can choose the right option from this drop-down. By default, the Klevu template is selected, but you may choose the preserving your theme layout option from here. Okay, there's also an option for add to cart button. If you enable this, here is an example in our UI, both in the quick search UI and on the landing page, we show the checkout option. You can decide which of these elements you want to show here. By default, we use the Magento's functionality to handle the add to cart functionality. In case you are using a third-party tool to manage your add to cart functionality, please write to us and we can tell you how it can be integrated with the Klevu search. Other content, that is non-product content. As I said, that we we collect the products, we collect the CMS pages, and we also collect category pages. If you want to enable the other content search in front, you have to select yes over here. You can specify which CMS pages you do not want to include in the search. Once you are done with these settings, here is an example how it will look like. So if it is a quick search UI, you will see a separate tab where the other content is displayed. On the landing page, again, you will see a separate tab where the other content are displayed. In case you are searching something and the only relevant result is from other content, automatically the other content tab will be selected and the results will be displayed there. Search merchandising. In case, if you had attended the webinar on the Klevu Merchant Center, you know that in Klevu Merchant Center, there is an option for you to promote individual products. If you have selected the premium plan, then this option of product boosting rules is also enabled. What is this? Let's have a look at it. So when you click on that boosting rules manager, another window will open, and here you can actually create complex rules. For example, you can write a rule which says that if a price of a product is less than 400, if the occasion is casual, and if the gender is woman, assign a boosting score of 200. That means all the products where these conditions are true, they will be boosted by the score of 200. Higher the score you give here, higher up in the search result your products will appear. This boosting manager is currently available in M1 only. In our M2 plugin, the boosting manager does not appear there. Instead, we have taken it out and integrated that in our Klevu Merchant Center. Here is a quick preview of that. So if you click on promotions, you are presented with the individual product promotions. And then now there is another tab called bulk product promotions. The UI is similar to what you saw in Magento. You can still create the similar rules. All the attributes that you have indexed, they will be available here. You will be able to select them and you will be able to create complex rules from them on them. The benefit of using the Klevu Merchant Center's this UI is that once you create a rule and once you have saved it, the products will be, the boosting score on the affected products will be applied immediately. In case of Magento, if you're creating a rule, you will have to run a product synchronization once the rules have been created. Okay, so that's mainly about the different options which are available in the Magento backend. Let's talk about a questionnaire. Once you have set up Klevu on your store, we will be sending you a link where we will ask you to fill up answers to some of the questions. Let's look at these questions. Why we need to collect this information? I'll be covering that in a bit. But let's say I'm using my email address and I'm saying that I'm a developer, for example. I'll click on next, and here I go. It is asking me for my store URL. Let's say I'm saying that it's local.klevu.com. I need to provide the version number, Magento 1, community edition 1.9.2. That's the one that I'm using. I'm informing how many products do I have in my catalog, say less than 10,000. Am I using a clustered environment? In case you are using a clustered environment, there are certain things that we need to inform you. For example, it may be better that you do not rely on the Magento cron to collect the data. It may be better that you use an external script. Depending on the answer that you choose here and that is submitted to us, we will come back to you and we will give you the right information on how the product synchronization should be set up. Do you have a separate staging and production environment? I've seen that some people use one server only to manage the staging and the live environment. In some cases, they are using two different servers to manage the environments. Whatever is your answer, please choose the correct one. If you were using any of the following search engines previously on your store, please let us know. If you are using any of these things and if they are still enabled on your store, we will have to write to you and we will have to inform you what steps should be taken. We've seen that often there are third-party extensions used for managing the filtering and the sorting of the products on your store. If that is the case, please let us know. Again, if you're using our template, then it doesn't matter. But if you want to use a preserving your own layout option, then we need to know which of the third-party extensions you are installing so that we can check for any conflicts happening with Klevu search. If you're not using any of the third-party tools, you don't have to worry about that at all. If you're using Magento to manage your CMS content, that's not an issue. But again, if you're using any third-party framework like WordPress or Drupal, and if you like to index that data with Klevu search, you can choose this option and we can send you the appropriate instructions on how to go about that. If you're using any third-party tool to manage your cron, please let us know. Otherwise, you can just say none. We've seen in some cases, you may be using an ERP system to manage the stock status and the product prices. If that is the case, please let us know and we can write to you with the appropriate information of managing the stock and the prices. This is usually the case with the B2B customers. So if you are running a B2B website, please let us know as well. I will say default Magento functionality. How do you manage your product pricing rules? and discounts. If you're using the Magento's catalog rule pricing functionality, you don't need to worry about, because the plugins are designed to handle those situations. But in case if you're using any third-party tool and if you see that our plugin is not picking up the correct price, then please inform us and we can look into that and we can come back to you. How frequently you are updating data, that is also important. Please let us know. How do you build your Magento indexes? Are you doing it manually or are your indexes updating automatically? Please let us know so that we can write to you with the appropriate instructions on what to be done. How frequently do you run your Magento cron? That is also important. So please let us know that information. And finally, on the last page, if there was anything else that you can think of sharing with us from the customization perspective, please let us know. Once you submitted the form, the information will be sent to us and we will be able to get back to you with the right information on if you had to take any steps to make sure Klevu search is working properly. Okay, debugging some common issues. It's important that you understand how the synchronization is working. If you're making any changes from the Magento admin panel, Magento updates a field called updated at in the catalog product entity table. So we rely on this updated at field in the catalog product entity table to find it out which products have changed since the last synchronization. In case you are using a third-party tool or some sort of API, or if you're making directly changes in the database, that updated add field might not have been updated. And in that case, it's possible that our plugin is missing on collecting certain information. So please make sure that updated add field is always reflected whenever the changes are done. In case you are having a large catalog, for example, a catalog that has a size of 20,000 products or more, we recommend that you do not rely on the Magento cron, because often it can block other crons, or our cron may be terminating before it completes the entire synchronization. In that case, a plugin is shipped with a shell script. There are instructions available in our support knowledge base how to set up the shell script, and we request you to use that shell script to perform the data synchronization. As I said earlier, please always make sure that your Magento indexes are up to date. As long as your cron is running, updated add field is taken care of, and your Magento indexes are up to date, we don't think there will be any issue with the data synchronization. That brings me to the next topic, staging to production. We have seen two types of setups. As I said earlier, you may have one server where you did all the setup, and once you are done with it, you are changing the base URL of that. If that is the case, you change the base URL, and the only thing you have to do is do the full data synchronization. Synchronize all the data again, and in our index, we will have the new base URL, and that is sorted. In case you have two servers, staging and production, ideally, we would recommend that consider both the systems as separate systems and install Klevu on them separately, so that you have separate API keys assigned to the store views on the staging server and on the production server. It's very important that the keys are not mixing up. Please do not copy keys from the staging server to the production server. I'll repeat this. Please do not copy keys from the staging server to the production server. Otherwise, you risk that the data of both the staging environment and the production environment will get merged in the same index. So on the production server, if somebody is searching, they may see URLs of the staging products. In case you do not want to have two setups, I mean, you do not want to have two sets of API keys and you want to copy keys from staging to the production, please make sure that you delete keys from the staging setup. It's very important that if you're copying keys from staging to the production, you make sure that you have deleted those keys from the staging environment. As long as you take care of this, you should not have any issue in migrating Klevu search from staging to the production. You only have to perform full data synchronization on the production server and you are done. When we talk about M2, all the functionalities which are available in M1, they are available in M2 as well. The only exception is the boosting manager. As I shared earlier, the boosting manager in case of M2 is not available in the plugin, but that is available in the Klevu Merchant Center. But otherwise, all the functionalities are available both in M1 and M2. We recommend that you always use the latest release of M2 because we have seen some serious bugs in the earlier version of M2. Klevu extension is still not available in the Magento Connect. However, you will be able to download it from the GitHub repository. The installation steps of the same, they are available again in our knowledge base. You can visit the Klevu support.klevu.com, and under the integration steps, you will see steps for M2 as well. A quick look at the M2 interface. So in M2, the Klevu can be found under Stores and then Configuration. You will see a tab for Klevu. You can click on Search Configuration and you will see a similar screen that we just went through in the M1 interface. Everything that you saw there is available here, no change. I'm done with my presentation. Please do ask me questions. A recording of this session will be available to you as well. And in case if you have any questions about anything that I said here or anything else which I did not cover, please write to us and we will be very happy to come back to you and share the information with you. Any questions? There is in the panel, you will see there is a section for question and answering. You can click on that and you can ask me if you have any doubt. Okay, no questions? No, hang on, something has turned up. Okay. How many listeners there were today? There were around 38 listeners joining this session. There's another question. How do I upgrade to the latest version as the original does not appear in Magento Connect? Um, if you installed the plugin from Magento Connect, then if you visit the Magento Connect again, the interface, there's an option for you to upgrade the plugin there. When you click on the upgrade button, you have to wait for a few seconds, and I believe it will show you the latest version available. You can choose that and you can click on upgrade. Once you do that, it will take some time to upgrade the plugin. Once the plugin is upgraded, you can log out and log in again. You do not need to do anything else. Log out and log in again. Go to the Klevu search and perform the full data synchronization once. That is it. You do not have to configure it again. Log out, log in again, and perform the full data synchronization one more time. In case you're not able to see if Magento Connect is not showing you the latest plugin, you can always write to us at support@klevu.com, and we will send you the latest package with the instructions on what should be done. Or you can also, there's a GitHub repository as well. You can visit that and you can download the plugin from there as well. I hope I've answered your question. Any more questions? We still have 5 minutes, so please feel free to ask questions. Or if you have any suggestions of how we can improve this webinar, I'll be really grateful if you can share that with us. Any specific topics that you would like us to cover in the webinar, please do share that with us as well. Or if you have, if you are an agency and if you like for us to organize this training for all your developers, we can also do that. Please let us know and we would be more than happy to organize that for you. Okay, no more questions. I believe that this session was useful to everyone. Please, as I said, please do share your comments, do give us feedback, and if there is anything that you want us to cover in the next webinar, please share that with us. We are done for today. Thank you very much for joining the session. We appreciate you taking time out. Thank you.